We will see each other more in the grammar, so I will keep my comments brief. I lead a peaceful rights movement from the platform Baloch Solidarity Committee in Balochistan, from a corner of the world that remains unknown to the outside world. The area I belong to has been reeling from violence and insurgencies for the last 7 decades. During these last 2 decades, in the name of counter-insurgency, operations and peace, a large number of young men, mostly students, engineers, doctors, political activists and journalists have been forcibly disappeared by Pakistani security agencies. I expect many of you don't know what enforced disappearance is. Enforced disappearance is when your own government and the security agencies abduct political activists and the vocal voices and don't present them in any courts. They have been detained in the detention centers, tortured, and their family didn't know about their whereabouts. Not for days, but for years, even though there are cases who have been enforcedly disappeared for decades. And the family didn't know that their beloved ones are alive or dead. So that's main definition of enforced disappearances. And it's been illegal in you can say in any state, and in UN Human Rights Forum it's been illegal, but still till today it's been practiced by the fascist states, by the oppressor states like Pakistan. During these last 2 decades, in the name of counter-insurgency operations and peace, many of our assets have been forcibly disappeared, and then their mutilated bodies were found in Balochistan. They were being killed in detention centers. And so that's a form of extrajudicial killing that our government has been doing. Unfortunately, the exact number of disappeared is unknown, as the state has not allowed international groups such as the United Nations or Amnesty International to investigate the nature of this human tragedy. When local activists, right groups tried to document the number or raise their voices, they themselves were disappeared. It is very difficult to tell these stories of victims of forced disappearances, but you have to search and research. And I request you all to have search and research what is happening in Balochistan, a Pakistani province, because what they have done, I see that they have disconnected us. Those who believe in human rights, those who believe in humanity, with their power and with the use of the technology, they have disconnected all those good people who want peace for all of the humanity. I have been campaigning against enforced disappearances for more than 10 years, starting when I was a teenager. Because I myself am a victim. My own father was disappeared by agents of Pakistani state in 2009. He was killed and his bullet-riddled body was found in 2011. When I was at 10th standard and that was the day when my result was announced. And that day I found the body of my father. My younger brother was disappeared when I was doing my graduation in medicine in 2017. I campaigned and launched rallies for him in Balochistan. After 3 months he was released, but my case is not exceptional. There are worse cases than this in Balochistan, even though there are victims and there are families where no one is left to tell their stories. And even though there are villages who have been destroyed and no one is here to tell their stories, yeah, that was a village where people could live peacefully. There are hundreds of young women like me today. I at least know that I am an orphan and my mother is a widow, but there are hundreds of children, teenagers and young people whose fathers, uncles or brothers have been missing for weeks, months and in some of the worst cases, years, and they do not know whether they are alive or not. Together with these youngsters, the majority of whom are women, I have been campaigning and rallying, pressing the Pakistan Supreme Courts, Parliament and security forces to release those who have been disappeared or at least present them before a court if they have committed any crime. But Pakistani authorities, instead of addressing our issues, it's very painful that they have resorted to violence. I marched more than 1,600 kilometers in December for over a month and arrived in Islamabad, the capital city of Pakistan, on a cold evening with children and women. We were beaten, charged, humiliated and tortured by police. The controlled media was used to run a malicious campaign against us. On social media, we were abused and trolled by state-backed accounts. Journalists were intimidated and stopped from giving us media coverage. Civil society was pressurized too. Powerful intelligence agencies of Pakistan forced the people of not to respond to our peaceful movement. Media ignored us through our protest camp was sent just outside the National Press Club of Islamabad, and there was no any coverage of this peaceful movement. We have been set there for more than 1 month. And also I can see that there is still hope, and we are hopeful because those who are behind this violence and those who are using violence, they are less in number. Maybe they have the power of the power to rule us, but those who believe in humanity, who believe in peace, we are large in number. And we live in a world which has been created by I think we must believe in humanity and what humans have gone through all of those years. This world is meant for human rights, for a world where no one lives in a fear that they don't deserve to be lived, and in a fear that their lives decisions were taken by those who ruled them and also who used violence against them. I'm honored and extremely thankful to PEN Norway, especially Jørgen, who is PEN's Secretary General, for giving me this platform to come and share my stories and experiences on a such bigger stage today. Because back in Balochistan, the biggest right, what has been violated, is the rights of freedom of expression. I'm proud to say that our story, which was locally ignored and undermined, is now being heard globally. Thank you everyone. We will meet again and talk more in detail. Thank you very much.